Hello, everyone. Hello, Karen, who is with us from the beach, from Santa Monica. So, Karen, thanks for being with us today. We're going to be talking about your recent great success with booking a recurring role in a show. But in order for us to get to that place, I would love if we could start from the beginning. And why did you decide to do some work on your instinct? Why did you decide to, yes, work through your resistance to get free?
Um, I think you sort of spoke to it in one of the web introductions that you gave, but it was this feeling of, you know, I've I've been making my living as an actress for over 30 years now. So I'm successful and I work, but I often feel that I either I'm pushing it a little bit too much. I'm not trusting that it will be there for me. Or you spoke on one of your web things that kind of pulled me in about when you were in France and you had this big audition,
Yeah.
and you couldn't do it, and you lost this wonderful opportunity, which is why you went off and reset your instrument. And I'll find that in auditions sometimes. I used to find that, everything was there and it was magical, and then sometimes I felt like I couldn't get to it and I would try and force it. And I know that, when I'm trying to force it or make it happen, it's not what acting's all about. It's not real. And I knew that there was a way to have that freedom. And what you do spoke to that search in me, to how do I find that without forcing it on the days that it's not there.
Great, great, great. And so how was resetting your instrument for you, especially because you've been with acting for a while and you're a professional actress? So how was your journey?
It was, it all made sense to me, intuitive sense and instinctive sense. Often there were things that I didn't want to do or I didn't like, but I sort of understood the reason for them. And when I kind of just do it, I would really experience a lot of small little breakthroughs. It wasn't like, oh my God, one huge breakthrough. It was just like, as I was doing it and, experiencing the exercises and really getting value out of them, they just started to settle in and make sense. And I think the biggest thing for me is I used to, whenever I'd feel resistance, I'd try and push it down and then try and look for an emotional result on top of the resistance. And what I learned through the reset is actually that my resistance is the gold, and to meet it and to go into it and to be with it and to explore it, because that's where the openings are. And I used to resist my resistance.
Yeah, and that's what everybody does, right? That's the biggest mistake, is to completely repress the block or the tension, whereas that's where your truth is. So if you repress it and you're putting a mask on top of it, you're faking, you're lying, and no one will believe it's true, because it isn't. So it's not going to work, right? It's like a
yeah. And that's been sort of the overall breakthrough for me.
Right.
And then, every day it's kind of experiencing that in a new way, and, and then reminding myself of that fact all over again, because I think the reflexes are to fight the resistance, or to be afraid of the resistance, or resist the resistance.
This will definitely keep you on your toes and fully alive, because you have to be in the moment all the time. You can't come with formulas or methods. It's just go with what there is, and it becomes so easy at one point, and yet so risky, because you're really alive. You're really there. Okay.
And
so
you're not controlling it.
No, you can't. You can't. So how was your experience when you went for that audition and, and booked it? How differently did you show up?
Well, one of the things that was cool and that I really enjoy right now is that it was on Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was sort of set up in my dining room, and I was in a waiting room, which is really cool because had it been, 8 months ago or something, I would be in the lobby of a casting director's office.
Mm-hmm.
But because and I had like a half an hour wait also. But for this audition, and I don't know if I can say what TV show it is yet, so I won't do that. But I can say I was playing a meth addict and will be playing a meth addict.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to allow that. I'm trying to figure out how to talk about it without going into the specific exercises. But I was basically allowing myself to be in a certain space and kind of regenerating that space for myself instead of breaking out of it. I was able to keep my emotional body in
Alive.
very fluid, very
Yeah.
alive and fluid.
Present.
And because of the exercises in the reset, I was able to talk to myself and stay in touch with my emotional body.
Wonderful.
So that when, they clicked in and went, all right, you're on deck or it's your turn, that my emotional body was revving and alive. And it wasn't like there was something to lose or something to push into, but it was like that whole motor was just there. And I could just stay present moment to it.
I have
So
chills all over my body because that's exactly what we're looking for. To not have to act when you're on deck, when you hear action, to not have to go into someone else, but to already be there, that you can just be the character rather than act the character, right? It's
yeah. And I was speaking from her voice and just being, I was what's the word? Yeah, I was just sort of, you have your motor on, but you're not driving. But I was, what's that word? Idling.
Yeah.
In her space, and
Flowing.
and being in touch with all those parts of me that know the state that she is in.
Wonderful. Ah, I'm so happy for you.
And there were some other specific things that we did in the reset that really played into it as well. But I don't want to talk about those things because I don't want to ruin the sort of surprise for people who do the reset.
Yeah, because there's some yummy surprises in the reset, scary ones too. But they are all leading into the same direction, which is the one that you're describing so well, where you can just be with whatever there is and flow with it, which is such an incredibly soothing thing to remind ourselves, right? Because you didn't learn it, you just reminded yourself as you were doing your journey and as you were resetting, you reminded yourself that whatever you feel is what you have. And that's yeah.
And Joe, I want to add on to that because I think with the times that we're living in right now, there's so much emotional turmoil.
Yeah.
And I'd like to tell you even that doing the reset has helped me sort of cope with these times, because I'm an overly sensitive person. I guess some people would call me an empath. So I feel a lot of things, and I used to feel all these things but not quite admit to myself that I was feeling them, or allow those emotions or feelings to go through my body as an actor or as a human being. And with the tools that I got from the reset, I'm actually able to touch into, oh, what am I feeling, and actually experience it instead of trying to not feel it. And in the allowing myself to experience it, I move through it and out the other side. Whereas I used to have so much feeling so many things that I didn't want to feel or didn't know what they were, and I'd be pushing them down so that I wasn't present in life, and I wasn't feeling good, and I wasn't present as an actor.
Totally, because we feel that we've been trained to think that these stickier emotions, they're not good or bad or positive or negative, they're just stickier, make us feel vulnerable, and that's not okay. We've been taught that over and over and over again. And the thing
or
is,
that we're feeling something that we shouldn't be
yeah,
feeling.
it's inappropriate for us and for others. And actually, when you retrain and rewire instrument to actually be with them, which you need to retrain because your brain won't go with them. It's wired not to, right? So you'll feel it, you will run away or repress it. But once you retrain yourself to be capable of just feeling what you feel, whatever stickiness you're feeling, whether it's vulnerable, whether it's, you know, yucky, whatever it is, there is power on the other end. There is your aliveness, your energy, your batteries being charged if you allow yourself to just feel it. It's incredible.
And allowing myself to feel that gives me access to almost any other feeling or place that I want. But if I don't allow myself to feel that, then I don't have access to the rest of the
You shut yourself
palette.
up. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for saying that. It's so many actors. I mean, I can pretty much say I haven't met an actor who has reset their instrument and said that it didn't have an impact on their life, because we're not, this is absolutely not an acting class. It's the opposite. So inevitably we're working on your being, and your being is not just present when you act, it's present all the time. So yeah, it affects how you can show up in every way. So I'm so glad you felt all those things. So cool. Thanks, Karen. Is there anything that you would like to add, or you feel complete?
No, I feel like we covered a lot, and I'm just no, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for. It feels like you have drawn from a lot of research that you've done on yourself over the years, both humanly and it just seems like you have done quite a few journeys in many directions, and you've pulled this all together with that, and it's very, very cool.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so glad it makes sense for you, and I can't wait for you to just enjoy the work in all your jobs, and then I can't wait for you to have time and come back and do the next work that we could do together. Yeah, so cool. Thanks, Karen.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, have a great day. No more
You
beach
too.
for you, but enjoy the rest of it.
You too.
Bye. Bye,
Bye.
Karen.